Hey guys, welcome back to Golden Reviewer. So this is the Google Pixel 6 Pro, and today we are going to do our first test on this Google in-house SoC, Google Tensor, and of course we'll be using Genshin Impact. So just as usual, we'll test in 25 degrees ambient temperature, and before the test I'll show you that the device is indeed cool. And let's just take a look at the graphics settings. I've set everything to highest and enabled 60 FPS so that we can compare the results across different devices since we are always using the same settings. Yep, so just as usual, I'll play the game for about 10 minutes and I'll actually show you the full gameplay footage together with real-time FPS and power consumption. So at the end of the 10 minutes gameplay, I'll show you the full results including temperature, power consumption, and FPS record. So feel free to skip to the end of the video if you are just here for the result. Otherwise, you can watch the full gameplay footage. Okay, so without further ado, I'll stop talking and let's start the test. Alright, so now we've played the game for about 10 minutes, and apparently the device has heated up and started to throttle. Now let's measure the temperature. We can see that it's about 40 to 41 degrees, so it's not very hot. It seems that Google sets a very conservative temperature threshold for this device. As for the FPS performance, it's not very good. We can see that the device cannot maintain 60 FPS even from the beginning. And as the device heats up, the FPS keeps going down until about 5 to 6 minutes mark and seems to stabilize a little bit. And for the second half of the gameplay, which means from 5 to 10 minutes, the average FPS is merely 31.7, which makes the game not enjoyable at all. So the performance, I would say, is rather poor. As for power consumption, we see an overall average of 5.8 watts for the 10 minutes gameplay. However, we should always look at the power consumption before and after throttling. So for the first few seconds before the device starts to throttle, we see an average power consumption of 8.5 watts, which is pretty high. This means that the SoC is not very efficient, and it can use a lot of power under high load. And then for the 5 to 10 minutes mark, the average power consumption reduced to about 5 watts after the throttling. This number itself is more or less okay, it's in line with other flagship devices, but considering the performance is only 30 FPS, we can still say that the energy efficiency is just not very good. Alright guys, so that's all for today's video. Overall, I think the first Google SoC, the Google Tensor, is not very good. The overall performance is somewhat similar to Exynos 2100, and you shouldn't expect a super good gaming performance from this SoC. It's not really about heavy gaming. Okay, so thanks for watching and see you next time.